Hey listeners, Dan Harris here, host of the 10% Happier podcast. Imagine all your audio entertainment available in just one place. That's what the Audible app is all about. With Audible, you can always find the best of what you love or discover something new. Audible has an incredible selection of wellness titles and originals like The Light Podcast by Michelle Obama, Work It Out by Mel Robbins, and Confidence Gap by Russ Harris. Membership includes access to Audible Originals, podcasts, and tons of audiobooks that you can download or stream as much as you want. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title per month from an ever-growing catalog of titles to keep. The Audible app makes it easy to listen anytime, anywhere, whether you're traveling, working out, doing chores, wherever your day takes you. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Harris or text Harris to 500-500.
The weather is cooling down a bit. The leaves are starting to fall. Yes, it's that time of year again, football season. And we all know the best part of any game day traditions are the ones that involve food. There's nothing like having everyone in your game day crew coming together to bring their best bites and argue over whose family makes the best chili. And while there's no need to mess with the perfection of game day classics, like a freshly grilled Oscar Mayer hot dog topped with Heinz ketchup and mustard, it's always fun to step out of your comfort zone and get creative with your recipes. Because there's nothing more fun than adding to your list of game day traditions, like making a creamy and delectable queso dip with Velveeta cheese that can be eaten with so much more than just chips. Now is the chance for people across the nation to find out whose game day eats reign supreme. It's your turn to show off your tasty game day food traditions. Go to www.gamedayfoodtraditions.com to share a photo of your game day food tradition to enter to win $10,000. Once again, that's www.gamedayfoodtraditions.com to enter to win $10,000.
This is Full Change with Tom Laidlaw.
Let's go. Let's go.
It is the most wonderful time of the year in New York City.
Nice.
Playoff time.
All three local teams in the playoffs.
It's incredible. First time since 94. And
Yep.
you know what happened then, right?
Yeah, definitely. Rangers win the cup. I remember them winning the cup too. And as a player, so I just retired like 2 or 3 years before that. Part of me was really jealous because I wanted to win it, but the other part of that was cool, like winning in New York, and you know how the fans are now, having the parade and the whole bit. So
hell yeah!
And then you look now, I've gotten to know some of those guys like Buka Boom and Stefan Matteau, and I've got to be pretty good friends. And you know, to relive those memories and have them talk about that stuff, like Matteau with his big goals that he scored.
It's so cool. It's just cool. I mean, think of how beloved your team was in the '80s, you know, and you got close.
Yeah,
these guys actually did it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Good bunch of guys too. Like I've got to be buddies with Leach a little bit now because he wore number 2. Obviously got retired before me or after me, and great sense of humor too.
Yeah, Leach is a class guy, obviously, and he's a legendary Ranger. Probably the greatest Ranger. I mean, it's a shame that they retired your number and spelled your name wrong.
I know.
They had the first letter right.
Wouldn't it be classic if we get up there and put something
Switch
over top of his name there, put my name, like a crayon or something?
We can Photoshop it, but
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't think we can actually get up there and do it because that would be, maybe we'll get for Skate with the Greats.
That's funny. Yes.
But now let's talk, because we got the Rangers and Devils for the 7th time. And we would have some guests on today talking about their playoff predictions and what they think the keys are. But let's go around the league with you, Tom, because I know you were in the agent business for 22 years. Right?
Have I mentioned that?
No, you haven't. Oh. And you were on Survivor. We know that. You played 7 years with the Rangers.
Got my truck driver's license too.
You did. Yeah. 4 years with the Kings, and you were just a well-rounded, all-around guy and a huge hockey.
Hold on. Did you really mean that like a well-rounded guy?
No,
I did. You actually gave me a compliment.
Listen, I look up to you because you're 6'2" and I'm 5'10", but you're a good guy in a lot of ways. Thomas, we got our first guest on our playoff show today. We have former Devil announcer, and friend of the show, Randy Velischek, to talk Rangers Devils.
Wayne Gretzky's best friend right there, too.
There it is.
What's happening, Mr. Velischek? How are you?
Good afternoon. Oh, good morning. All is well. We're actually up in Quebec at the moment, and Canadians obviously are not in the playoffs, but we're up in northern Quebec. There's 2 feet of snow, actually 2.5 feet of snow.
Wow.
And it's actually gorgeous, and it's raining now, so all the moisture is coming off the lake, so it's almost like out of a picture. It's pretty
very,
cool.
Very descriptive, picturesque.
Look at that.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Thank you, Randy.
Wow, that was good for a hockey player to be speaking like that.
He's a trilingual hockey player.
No, he's actually an intelligent hockey player too. Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, that's
No,
rare.
He went to a real college, Tom.
we're all smarties. We're all smarties. Anybody?
What did you say? A real college?
A real
Like
college.
you're saying Northern Michigan is not
No,
a real
it's
college.
not. You took bowling in college.
So Harvard and beginning skating too.
Randy took real classes in college.
That's
we
right.
we used to hear that about. Ironically, we used to hear that about the West. Well, was it North Dakota and was the other one Wisconsin?
Yeah.
And Bruce Driver actually, who I played with. He'd tell me the Chris Chelios stories. Like the Chelios didn't even know what a classroom looked like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I tell us a story. Well, I told it several times, but I had one instructor. He handed out the old computer cards. Remember they get the little option
cards.
Scantron, is that what it was? Scantron. Yes. And he handed me the computer card first, the Scantron card
with the answers.
Without the answers, he says, "You might as well fill this out right now." So there's no questions. I just filled it.
There you go.
I gotta see. I'm gonna get a C no matter what. The only problem is I had to be smart enough to sit around for a while, so it wasn't too obvious that I was cheating.
Luckily, you did.
Yeah.
And now here we are talking Rangers Devils again. Seventh time they're meeting in the playoffs. Very exciting time for New Jersey and New York. Randy, what do you think? You like the Devils' chances this year?
You know what? I'm certainly on paper. They have to be favored. They got great goaltending.
Really? Oh, favored.
I'd say
wait
favored.
a minute. Hold on. Tom's got his gloves. He just dropped the gloves, Randy.
So when you've got Shesterkin in net for the Rangers, you still think the Devils are favored?
Yeah. Tom, you make a good point. It's usually about the goaltending, but Velischek has just shown that he's been he's weathered the he's on trial, and I think he passed. Like he passed the all the check marks. He's made big saves when he's had to. He's remained healthy. He played in big games and won big games for them. And I think that game against Boston, toward the end of the season, that 2-1 win in Boston, I think it's a little. I think it's a sign that they are destined. And they added Luke Hughes to the blue line end of the year.
He's an absolute stud.
Yeah, they're mobile. They're big on the blue line, which is also key, as you know, Tom. Defense wins cups, and then they can score, and they're young. So
but here's the thing, though: we got this great goaltending on both sides. We got great offenses on both sides. So what are these games going to be like? 2-1 games?
That would be my guess. Simply based on the goaltending on the Rangers side, which probably again, if you have to, if you're doing a direct contrast, you're going to say probably the Rangers. Shesterkin is maybe one up on Velischek, but beyond that, the D I'd say are pretty comparable.
Yeah,
and then the forwards, you have to give it to the Devils. They just have more. I think they're just deeper.
Well, I don't know. I think you could say deeper, but the problem with the Rangers are like the age, right? Like Kane is still a good player, but he's older now. Been through a lot. Like the Devils are a young team too, right? So
they are young. They're hungry. Jack Hughes he might be the best player in the series. He's unbelievable. But everyone keeps talking about their lack of experience. Randy, can you speak to that a little bit? Do you think that their youthful exuberance will kind of make up for that?
Well, I'm going to go to Tom here on this one. Just you do remember, so in '87, the Devs, I think the Devils were that was our first crack at the postseason, and I remember going into it like none of us had played. The majority of us had never played. Then we were talking Kirk Muller, Pat Verbeek, Mark Johnson, like just
John McClain.
John McClain and Johnny Mack, exactly. So all these players that had never experienced postseason play went in with, you don't really know what you're getting into.
Yeah, it's true.
And obviously, honestly, it's almost an advantage. Sean Burke, he was an Olympic goalie. He played in that environment. It was nothing compared to stepping into the Boston Garden or wherever we ended up playing. But so I'd say this for this group of young athletes I think it's an advantage because you don't realize the grind. And Tom, the grind. That 2.5 months of by the end you've lost 10 pounds and you're barely like a skeleton compared to when you started. So I'd say from that, I'm just thinking they're riding a high. They're top 5 in the league as far as points. I mean, they've had a great end of the season. They went through downturns. They battled through that. They battled through injuries, and I just say that all the parts are there. And I mean, that's what I think. I think the lack of experience might favor them.
Yeah, my first year in the NHL, that's when we went to the semifinals against the Islanders. So we beat Los Angeles, St. Louis, and then played the Islanders. And I was the same way. I was just clueless. I was just having a ball playing and thinking the first year in the league, and really not as much pressure on you as an individual too, because you are that young player, unless you're like a star player. But for me, it was all bonus. But you're right though. When it was all over with and we finally got beat out, I remember going home and thinking, "Wow, I was drained. I didn't realize how drained I was physically, emotionally." because you just having a ball out there. So, no, I do agree. I think that's going to help. There's a lot of pressure on the Rangers. I mean, we got those. They brought in all these good star players.
They brought in Patrick Kane, for Christ's sake, you know.
Yeah. So if they lose in the first round, that's a total disaster for this team.
Huge.
So it doesn't mean that they have to win the cup because there's other good teams, but that will be the goal for them. So losing the first round just doesn't cut it.
Well, Tom and Randy, also, do you guys think that the Rangers are going to try to be physical with these young Devils, try to pound them, especially that Rangers fourth line has a couple of hitters on?
Yeah,
and
Trouba. Yeah, Trouba. Yeah. So I would, if I was the coaches, I said, listen, you got to play the body all the time. You may not have to like run them through the boards all the time, but always finish your checks. That does a few things. So now they're always thinking, geez, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get hit. You're always changing your game because you're going to get hit all the time. And hopefully it wears them down a little bit. But people, and I should be careful when I say that. People say, well, if you're hitting people, you're going to wear them down. I view it the other way. When you're the guy doing the hitting, you're doing the work. But you still do it, especially if you got.
And both of you guys were defensemen who like to use a body. Yeah. Tom's case, the stick. But you guys, you had to slow down your opponents, and you have to do that in this series too. Yeah. But they call it much tighter now than they did when you guys played.
Yeah. So they like Randy and I. We played you at the front of the net. There was a war zone in front of the net there. Like you start. If you had a 7-game series, you had to set the tempo with those players that they were going to pay the price for going to the front of the net. You just can't do that stuff anymore. So,
I think Tom, you're relaying something that I really felt when we played Washington in the second round. And I remember Dale Hunter was on a mission. And did you remember that? I mean, you remember the way he played?
Yeah.
And I mean, they didn't call anything in that era. So but again, this I think favors the Devils again, because as hard a hitter as Trouba is, I don't think he's going to be able to. I don't think the intimidation and the physicality is going to be as much of a factor as it might have been, 10, 15 years ago. At the end of the day, and you got to catch Hughes and you got to catch Hischier.
Yeah,
you know, you got to get them. Mercer, you got to find. I mean, how are you going to pin those guys down, because they're all mobile and they avoid the corners.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Like Trouba can't be running out of his position to try to hit somebody. If it's there, it's there. But yeah, and those players are smart and fast and everything. So yeah, I agree. The whole intimidation thing is gone now. Really, it's maybe more speed intimidation and skill intimidation than it is the old physical intimidation.
So safe to say you guys think it's going to be goaltending, special teams that's going to come after that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of chances on both ends. That's how the Rangers are designed to give. They're going to give up a lot of chances, but they create a lot of chances, but they got a great goaltender. And that seems pretty similar to the Devils. So,
but the Rangers' power play is pretty deadly.
Yep, totally. Yeah. So to me, I think this is going to be a fantastic series, low scoring series, but lots of chances, speed up and down the ice. So it'll be good.
Fox, I think the D are also critical, because you look at the Devils, and Hamilton obviously is a hell of a defenseman, but I don't believe he's Fox, who has carries more of an offensive, in my mind at least, and that's going to be that fourth and fifth guy joining the rush might be the difference, and that in case it's Fox or whether he leads it or joins
so
it.
You're going with the Devils, obviously. How many games?
I'm thinking this goes 6.
Wow.
Okay. So I've got the Rangers in 7 then.
Okay.
And now, should we have an over under for total goals scored? Like, I'm thinking 3 or 4 goals per game. So 7 games. So let's go. So I'm going to go the over under is 25 goals scored.
I think it goes over that. Definitely goes over that.
Really?
What do you think, Randy?
I'm going to go over. Thompson.
Just the
power. Just because of the special teams.
Okay, so we got over 25.
Yeah. There'll be. There's going to be a game where Jack Hughes explodes, or Panarin or Zibanejad has a hat. There'll be some scoring, but it'll be low for the most part.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Are we betting any money on this, Randy, Mr. Belichick? Like Canadian money?
Should we put some? I'll put the Canadian dollars hurting, so I'll pay 20 Canadian, and you owe me 20 US.
Big spenders.
Randy just won that bet.
Look at that, big spenders, man. Wow.
All right, well, Randy, thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving us your insights.
No, can we do this? May we do this again? Are we allowed to revisit this at some point?
Yeah, actually, after the series is over, we'll have to have a review what we did. We'll watch the video of this, and then we'll see how we did.
Or if it goes to Game 7, we'll get back together before that.
That's right. Nice.
That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, brother. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, all the gentlemen, have a great week, a great spring, and looking forward to some great hockey.
Yeah, brother.
Same here. Hey, Tom, our next guest is your teammate and old friend and friend of the show, Eddie Boxcar Hospodar.
There he is. Just saw him a couple weeks ago down in Philly, too. Look like a stately gentleman. Look at him. A little gray on the sides there. Yeah, Sober. I think it said sober.
So, looking at this, it doesn't make sense that Ed was a fighter, tough guy, badass back then, because he looks like like you said, a stately. Yeah. You look like, a knucklehead plumber.
Blockhead.
Yeah, exactly. But Ed looks like, well-educated.
Some kid, I did a hockey clinic the other day up in Newington, Connecticut, and the young kid was whispering to me, and I leaned down. He says, are you Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's father?
I sent you the picture of that too.
Oh God,
a mini rock.
Okay,
Mini
older
rock.
brother maybe, but father. Geez.
The White Rock.
Oh God, that's funny. Oh, yeah.
But Eddie, the playoffs are coming. It's the most exciting time of the year in New York City, as you remember. What do you like in this Ranger Devil series?
Oh, we should have quizzed him. He didn't even know who the Rangers were playing.
I didn't even know who they were playing. I just know, I'm living down here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I'm having so much fun. I knew, all right.
Not watching the
Flyers are not in the playoffs. I'm going to walk into the country club or walk into the neighborhood bar, and I'm going to get, hey, what about your Flyers? What about your Flyers?
Right.
And I just turn around, and I already got my Ranger shirt on. Right here, baby. Right here. I'm watching the Rangers.
That's convenient, right? You can have a Rangers jersey and a Flyers jersey in your car. And just
I wear them both at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And cause so much trouble. My daughters say, you're just causing trouble. Why are you doing that?
Really? Especially in Philadelphia, like the Philly people, the fans, the players, they hate the Rangers. Yeah.
Well, if you go up to New York and people say, wait, you can't have a Flyers hat on and a Rangers jacket on.
I think there's more hate in Philly, though, for sure.
Well, I think the fans are nastier, aren't they?
Come on, Flyers. Come on. Like with their accent.
No. They're just, you know what? I'm starting to be like, they used to talk about the Philly flu when the guys go in there now. Oh. But with what's going on in the city and what I see the behavior of, I'm afraid of a Philly fans. Yeah, when you go down there. Like, there's some serious.
So what do you think's happened then? Like, do you think the Flyers, that's just the legend that's been built and now they feel like, okay, that's the way we have to act?
You know what? We got spoiled by Ed Snyder, a hands-on, everyday owner that probably knew the game or knew the players too. Like he was involved, even though he was building his empire or whatever. He'd come into the locker room every game. You'd have to and you called him Mr. Snyder, and he would tell you to call him Ed, but we just called him Mr. Snyder. I said, that's your nickname. You get used to it, unless you were in a private room, but in public, it was always Mr. Snyder. But he was just so good. And then you felt like if you lost, you let him down, because he was all for the players. When he had the team before he sold it, the Flyers were the number one employer of former players in their scouting staff and all that. Maybe that's a bad thing, but they had so many good years runs, and now I don't think the management is the same. I can honestly say I can go to a game and I don't know who the head guy is. And I went down to 25 games. Wow. And I go down they have a nice little alumni lounge there. They put out some cheese and shrimp and beers for you to have a room TV in and old pictures. And I never see. I don't know who owns it. It's Comcast.
People listening probably don't know this, but I'm not sure it works with the Rangers, Tom, but the Flyers have an alumni lounge for ex-players. It's open to anyone, anytime, free. They just show up and watch a game and taken care of there, which is a nice thing that they do.
Yeah, it's just simple. But I'll tell you, I think what the Rangers have, when I've gone into, I think it's called the American Airlines
Delta
Club. The Delta Club. Sorry.
Some plane company,
Yeah, and that's really nice to have access.
Rangers treat the alumni fantastic as well. Yeah,
I'm actually going to say, they spread it around. I think a little bit better. The Rangers do.
Yeah, they get a lot of guys involved.
Yep, they get a lot of guys involved. Flyers have guys that are on their staff, and they tend to do. That's part of their job descriptions. So they don't have to be.
It's interesting. You talk about Mr. Snyder. I knew when I was in the agent business. Do you know?
Wow, Tom was in the agent business.
Yeah. How about that?
Did you? He's always giving. I can't tell. I can't tell a simple story about Tom.
He's got 7 stories, Ed, and I've heard them all 25 times.
I had Brian Boucher as a client, and I had to negotiate a contract for him. So we went up to Mr. Snyder's office.
Wait, hold on. Was this before or after Boucher fired you?
That'd be before.
Okay, gotcha.
This is what I have to deal with.
Yeah, but Tom, you're a hockey agent, not a TV agent now. So
that's true. Yeah, that's right. TV. He didn't. Good point. That's why he fired me. He didn't need me anymore. Right? Yeah. That's not what I did. But I'll tell you, it was interesting. Mr. Snyder was a total gentleman too. Bobby Clark lost his mind in the middle of the meeting because I was being stubborn, and he starts spitting. Tommy, you're just being stubborn, and he's yelling and everything like that. And both Mr. Snyder and I are both looking at him like, what are you doing? And even Mr. Snyder was like he didn't want to embarrass Bob. It was like, okay, we're in a business meeting here. Let's settle it down a little bit.
What was fun about him too, as a former player, and but especially as a former player, was really fun to tease and talk about and learn. Here's they had an outdoor stadium game here in Philadelphia, Flyers Rangers, which is perfect.
Tom laid on -4.
I was in the alumni game the day before. Yeah,
-4.
Yeah. I was in both teams' locker rooms. That's right. Yeah.
Everybody
was so mad that I didn't play. He said, "What? $150 for socks and sweaters, and you live here and you're not playing it?" And I said, "No, I don't have a problem." But I spent the game down in the locker rooms on the ice, and both days in Mr. Snyder's private box for the outdoor game. So it was really cool. Cool. I brought friends in. So, but he was funny. I'll tell you what he tried to do. And when they brought the outdoor game to Philadelphia and they started doing an alumni game the night before, the NHL only wanted to do like 5,000, 3,000 tickets.
Oh,
and Mr. Snyder said that no, he would buy the other 55,000 seats or whatever, the whole stadium.
Wow.
Oh, did
he?
And
the league was like, what are you doing? He said, no, I know Philadelphia. I believe in it, and we'll sell the place out. I'll do it all. But needless to say, the league then came in and did it. And they had the event the night before, and it was really early on that the Rangers were one of the first games to do the outdoor game. They did one in Boston the year before, but they almost had no outdoor stadium tchotchke, no sweaters, no hats, anything left from for the day of the game,
the main game. Oh, yeah,
right. And they learned that this thing is a big.
I remember the place was packed. Yeah, it was funny because we were sitting in the locker room before the game, the alumni game, and we're laughing, going, Brian Leach is in there, and Adam Graves, and Mark Messier, and a whole bit, and they're going, the fans aren't going to yell at us now. There were a bunch of old guys, they're not going to yell at us. Really? We stepped out there like, Laidlaw, you suck, your dog sucks, everybody sucks.
Oh yeah,
funny.
It was
right about that.
It was so
my
much
dog
fun.
Doesn't suck.
But you know what's great about that? There it is, a night of the game, and I went down there with friends that had he had his father and he had his son, and there's 3 generation of like Laidlaws watching hockey and talking and bringing up stuff, and the son doesn't know anything about Bobby Clark because he just wasn't around when he was born. So and it was fun to watch. And
awesome.
My kids were sitting by John Beaver's kids, and when they obviously didn't know each other because they were so young. But when they announced my name, Beaver's kids go, "Who's that?" My kids are sitting right there. They didn't know who you were.
In fairness, Tom, your number is retired at Madison Square Garden, so you should be proud of yourself. They spelled the name wrong, of course, but
I'm waiting for that day. Did you get invited out to the ceremony?
For who? For Leach? That's a funny story. So for Leach's retirement ceremony, I didn't play with him during the numer like that, but they were bringing Brad Park, who were number 2 before and everything. But about 2 weeks before the event, they called me up. The Rangers did. They said, "Oh, we forgot about you. You want to come?"
I hope you said yes.
Well, I did. I said yes, but I've got my 3 sons I need to bring. I have my stepson, my own 2 sons. And they said, "Okay, we'll call you before we get that all set up with tickets." They called me the day of the event, and they said, "Are you coming in tonight?" I said, "Well, did you get me the tickets?" And they said, "Well, we can spread them out around the building." The little kids. I said, "I'll pass. I'll watch it on TV." So I know. Well, it was just like it was a little bit of pride involved there,
I would have never missed the opportunity. If 17 goes up or 23 ever goes up, I'm going.
That's right. You were 17 and 23, right?
When you were 20 down to Philly, when I went to Hartford, I kept 23. I'd always been 23, and then you come down here, and who had it? Holmgren had it. Berube had it. They put certain guys in. I thought thinking like that number. So
you were
wanted 23.
You were 23 in New York, right, Ed?
Yep. Yeah,
That's going to get retired.
Hartford and 17 in Minnesota and Flyerland. Plays a lot of stops, but they were all in the show.
But pretty safe bet that 23 gets retired in New York eventually.
Because of Buka Boom?
Ranger fans loved Eddie Hospodar. Oh man, they loved you.
Well, no, I was thinking Adam Fox, but that's okay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that number. Yes.
New York
Norris
boy.
Already.
The Long Island boy.
He is Long Island guy. But let's talk about the current the Rangers and their chances with the Devils. What do you think, Ed? You think you like the Devils in this one, or you like the Rangers?
You know what?
You don't know have a clue. I don't have a clue.
I honestly don't know what's going on. I'm being between Florida and the good life and the grandkids. No time. I haven't had any time to watch.
So that's saying Rangers in 6.
This is the time I'll start watching because I go in segments now. It's baseball time, then it's football time, then it's March Madness, and now it's NHL playoffs. So I'll get back involved and watch. Okay. That's how I watch.
Rangers in 6. Thanks for coming on the playoff show, Ed. We'll see.
There's the playoff show.
Thanks very much for that insight.
Let me ask you this: the Devils have a lot of the European guys still, the Czechs and all that.
No, the Devils are just a young team. They're really young and really
a lot of
fast.
U.S. born kids too. Isn't it?
A lot of U.S. born kids. The Hughes brothers, right. Yeah. They have Jasper Brett, who's Swedish, but mostly they're American and Canadian kids.
Goalies are Russian, right?
It's nice to know us Americans are coming into the sport. There was only like 22 of us in the league when
we were born in Canada, weren't you?
No, he's American.
Bowling Green, Ohio.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's right.
2 years.
Racist, Laidlaw.
How's that racist?
Hockey racist.
Oh, that's awful. Call me a racist.
I think that's really cool, though. That hockey now is putting players from the U.S. in, because I think at one time the NHL were, there was a fight between Quebec, Ontario, and Western kids, and then college kids had to try to break the thing, and then Europeans, one or two broke the Salming, was he too soft? Hedberger, Nielsen, that's the WHA, and all these guys came in and showed that they could play, and then you see the Devils grab and the Detroit Red Wings go after all these Russians that were like, man, they were legitimate.
They were good
players, Hall of Fame players.
But the U.S. has caught up. The U.S. mostly because of the clinics around the New York metropolitan area that Tom Laidlaw runs for the little kids.
Definitely.
Obviously,
I would say so, and I'm part of that clinic.
Yes, you are.
Program
That's
too,
right. Make a difference.
It's one of the best around.
Think about all the things that those young kids can learn from us, like stick handling and skating. And
I got to tell you,
I had so much fun because what I never realized and the opportunities you have. When I was a kid growing up in Toronto, there was a Quebec International Pee Wee hockey tournament.
Yep, still there.
So I didn't realize it, but I'm doing one of these clinics over by Princeton, and lo and behold, I see a Quebec Pee Wee tournament sticker, and I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we were just up there." Now, it used to be only boys, but now they have a girls' league in it.
Oh, it's massive.
And from all around. But it was funny that I started talking about collecting of pins, and I have a huge pin collection and a lot of doubles and all that.
So is that like big pins? Or like,
no, they give them out of tournaments.
It's not like big. So like huge as the pins are huge, or you got a whole bunch
in the tournament, you trade them.
He's trying to be a wise guy. That went over so flat. That's a Northern Michigan joke.
Come on, that was excellent.
That was terrible.
People will be rolling over like dying laughing.
I don't think so.
I just keep talking because otherwise I'm coming through. And
so does Tom. Tom keeps talking too. He just keeps going.
Oh God.
Hey, Tom, there's a great event coming up for your buddy and friend of the show, Bernie Nichols, and his foundation.
Yes, Bernie's a good man, funny man.
Yeah, he's great on our show. He's got like a 3-day event, a charity event for his foundation in Vegas coming up May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's great. It's golf. It's poker. There's an auction. It's just a cool hang. So. Right.
I'll tell you, just to hang around with Bernie Nichols for 3 days, that'd be just enough right there. He's a funny man. I love playing with him. Great teammate. Loves having fun, his stories. And he's a good practical joker, too. He likes to pull a practical joke.
Right up your alley.
Oh, yes.
So the lineup, the celebrity lineup is incredible. He's got the golf swing doctor, Hank Haney. Wow. He's got Marty McSorley, your ex-teammate. Right, there you go. He's got Jack Wagner, who was on Melrose Place. I know you don't watch TV, but he's a big actor and golfer.
Yeah.
Gary Lehman, 50-goal scorer in the NHL.
Real good player. Yep.
He's got Damon Allen, Matthew Barnaby, who's going to probably mix it up.
Yeah, he's got personality. He does. That'll be fun.
Kim Alexis, the ex Mrs. Duguay, will be there.
Definitely.
Greg Maddux, Hall of Fame baseball pitcher.
Oh, nice.
John O'Hurley, who was on Seinfeld. Darren Banks.
Wow.
Brad Mayday.
Oh.
Mark Rippon, quarterback. Mark O'Mara, pro golfer. Jim McMahon, who was
that's quite a lineup.
Yeah, and JR, Jeremy Roenick.
Wow, some good personalities there too with JR and Matthew Barnaby there and Bernie there. And Marty's pretty good too. He's pretty funny.
That looks like it's going to be a total riot. This looks like a great time. It's in Vegas. If anybody is in the area or wants to go out there, they still have some openings for some foursomes, and you can find information at BernieNichols.com.
Wow, very cool. Maybe we should go out there and do a show.
You know what? Maybe we should shoot for that for next year.
What's the date again?
May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Wow, that's fun. Yeah, we'll shoot for next year. That'd be better.
Lots of meet and greets, golf, and an auction. Looks like a really good time.
Yes, it does.
BernieNichols.com.
Good job.
So let's start out west, okay?
Yep.
We got Connor McDavid and the high-flying Oilers versus your old LA Kings.
You know what? I still think Edmonton's going to win this series, but LA's got a good young team. They're going to be in that category. And when you're a young team like that, very often you just don't know the pressure. Right. You're just not aware of it. So I think and again, the intimidation factor with speed for Connor McDavid and Draisaitl as well.
Yep.
You know, could scare teams up. But again, those young guys for the Kings are going to go, okay, I don't know. I'm playing hockey. So
just show up and do your job. Yeah, they shipped out Jonathan Quick, which was kind of curious, to another playoff team.
Well, initially they sent him to Columbus. He was only in Columbus one day, right? And then
look at you. See, you do know your stuff. Look, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
I used to be in the agent business.
Also, the Kings. I mean, the Oilers don't sleep on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who had a 100-point season too. So that's a kind of a triple threat they have going there.
Yeah. So I think Edmonton will ultimately win that series, but it's going to be 6 or 7 games.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you with Edmonton on the win in that series. Yep. All right. Next, we'll talk about the Wild versus the Dallas Stars.
I haven't seen Dallas play that much. So whenever other times I've made predictions about these playoffs, I haven't really talked about them much. And then people are always saying, Tom, you got to pay attention to the Stars. Yeah. So and then you go back and look at them and you see some of their films and everything. They are a good team.
They're kind of a under the radar team. Like I said, Minnesota's a good team too. I mean, Kaprizov is a flat out stud.
Well, and they took off scoring wise when he got out of the lineup, got hurt. They scored more goals.
And now he's back. And and Zook plays incredible with him. They have a great first line. They have Ryan Reeves for the toughness. They plucked him from the Rangers, and then they got Fleury and net.
Yeah, so I was initially going to take Dallas. That's going to be a heck of a series. That's going to be good hockey. So I'm going to go 7 games, and I'll go with Dallas.
Okay, I'm gonna say the same with you, but I'm gonna go with the Wild. I think the Wild are gonna win that one in 7.
You're wrong, but it's okay.
Well, I don't know that I'm necessarily wrong. I think maybe you are, but let's talk about Winnipeg versus Vegas. Winnipeg's been hot lately.
Yeah,
they had a good end to this season. Vegas is Vegas. Yep. Who do you like in that one?
I like Vegas's lineup. There's just some, and again, I'm not a big fan of Eichel at all.
People who've heard you know that you don't like Eichel very much.
It's just the character issue with me. So I like Vegas's talent, but but I'm not crazy about Winnipeg. I'm going to go. I think that's 2 teams that have bad locker rooms. It's strange
you
to say.
Think so?
Yeah, the character issue. But I think Vegas is so talented. Vegas will win.
Well, what about Winnipeg? I mean, because who was their owner publicly trashed Scheifele, which was kind of odd.
Well, they took. He had the C on last year, or is it Wheeler had the C?
Wheeler had the C.
Right. They took that off him.
I'm sorry, they trashed Wheeler, not Scheifele.
Yeah. So there's we had a former teammate James Patrick on one of our old shows there, and we felt like everybody in the league in the hockey world knew that those 2 guys were not great team players. And James said that publicly and was
got a little blowback.
Got a little blowback for it,
but then they took the C off Wheeler.
Right. So that's to me. I feel most people in the hockey world know that those 2 guys. And again, I want to be careful how I say that because I don't know them personally. But apparently they're just not the best team guys, and especially the 2 leaders on that team.
That could also be perception too. Maybe there's something. We've talked to players who had trouble with ownership, and you hear why, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's really going on behind the scenes." So that's a little odd. I think Winnipeg has an incredible goaltender. I think that's going to be a long series too. I like Winnipeg. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go with Vegas, and I just think they've got more talent. That'll be an interesting series. I kind of think about that. Well, no, I'll go with Vegas.
All right, and then the defending champs versus the Seattle Kraken, who are a solid team.
Yeah. Where are they at with the Colorado? Do they have their captain back?
No, he's out. He's out for the playoffs. Yeah, Landeskog.
That really hurts them a lot.
Sure.
I like Makar. He's back, right? Makar's back. And obviously I'm a huge Nathan McKinnon fan. I'm still going to go with Colorado because I think they've got so much talent, but it'll be interesting. I'm going to go 5 games in that one.
All right. I think you're going to see an upset.
Oh, really? There's your upset.
I think that's the biggest one. I think you're going to see post-cup hangover. I just think the captain's out. Something's not right. I think Seattle takes it. I think they're very underrated.
Oh, that's a good. See, that's an upset.
I think that's a big upset.
That's gutsy.
So thank you. I like to live on the edge.
Yes,
Obviously,
you're wild, man.
I'm here.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the East. This is what people really want to know about.
Yep.
Why don't we start off with Tampa and Toronto? You're from Toronto. You know the pressure that's on these guys.
Yeah.
It's longer than the Rangers drought now, right?
Yeah, they won a playoff round in how long?
56 years now.
I just, you know what? I'm not a Kyle Dubas fan. He's the general manager. Yep. I don't like the team he's put together. It's like, okay, I'm going to have the skilled team together, and now I'm going to go get a bunch of more physical guys. And I like Ryan O'Reilly a lot. That was a big trade for them. But it's just they got an opposite. Like instead of having a team full of a bunch of character guys, you got some guys that aren't character players but skill players. They're not as good character players, and then you go and get these other character guys coming in. I don't like the makeup of the team. I don't think the goaltending is good enough. I'm going to go with Tampa.
You like Tampa? I'm kind of with you. I think Braden Point is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Very, very underrated. I mean, he's a superstar player, and they have that pedigree. I think they still have one more shot at this thing. So I think they're going to beat Toronto.
We got 6 games. What do you think?
I would think one might go 7 because I think this. Toronto's a good team, but I agree with you. I think Tampa's gonna eke this out.
And again, the difference is the goaltending for Toronto. That's going to be if they can play like one of those 2 goaltenders can do something and play well, then they'd be okay. But again, it's Vasilevsky.
Vasilevsky. Nice pronunciation. I
changed Vaseline. Vaseline.
Close enough. Fans, all right.
Just whatever I want. It's
that's
close.
it. Well, listen, it's your world. Right? We're all just living in it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Florida versus the Big Bad Bruins.
Oh, Boston's got to be.
Do you think that they played so well for so long? That was an incredible. What they have? 63
wins? Points. 62 wins. Yeah, you're right.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of wins. You think they can maintain that?
Well, listen, you think back a few years ago in Tampa before they finally won a cup. They had the President's Trophy. They played Columbus in the first round, lost 4 straight.
They got swept. Yeah. Embarrassing.
So listen, it can happen. There's no question because here's the thing. You're going in, you're thinking to yourself, we are great. And we worked hard to be great all year long. But to win in the playoffs, you've got to do all the little things right. You can't cut corners in certain places. So they underestimate Florida, and now don't go out and do all the things right. And then they'll catch themselves, and all of a sudden they're down 2 games, down 3 games. So it could happen. But I just think I like Patrice Bergeron so much. And his character, the leadership there. So I just don't think he's going to let that happen.
That first line has 3 Hall of Famers on it.
Yeah.
I mean, even though everyone hates Marchand, the guy's a phenomenal player.
Yeah. You'd love that on your team, man. He is that guy.
100%.
Boston in 5 games.
But you also have Tkachuk there, who's going to be running, rampant around these guys, going to be banging everybody.
True.
He's a superstar as well. So Boston in 5. All right. I'd love to see the Bruins lose as a Ranger fan, but I think Boston will probably win. I think it's going to be 6.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's talk about our neighbors to the east, the Islanders. They take on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, Carolina, man, I like that hockey team a lot. I like the way Rod Brind'Amour coaches, the way he gets in your face the whole game.
Also, Rod Brind'Amour.
Did he change his name?
Yeah, it's not Brind'Amour anymore.
He changed it?
Yeah.
When did he do that? I didn't hear that. I didn't get the notice on that.
But when you were in the agent business, he might have been Brind'Amour, but now he's Brind'Amour.
See, the key to the way I deliver it too is I just plow right through, right?
Absolutely.
Don't pretend that you're wrong. Just keep going. All right. Rod Brind'Amour.
That's it. Yeah,
he's an excellent coach. I love the way he coaches. Love the way he gets his team to play. They're in your face all the time. But the Islanders, I'll tell you, they got great goaltending.
They do.
Can they score enough goals? Barzal, is it?
I think he's coming back. Yeah.
Right. So that's going to be that's going to be a good series. But I still think that Carolina is going to win that series. I'm going to go 6 games in that one.
Yeah, and I think the Islanders are going to knock them off. I really do. Even though Rod Brind'Amour might be one of the few alumni who's in better shape than you are.
He better shape?
Oh, he's in phenomenal shape. Look, your nickname is what? The White Rock or whatever you call yourself.
Right, Rock's father.
Rock's father, but he's Rod the Bod. I mean, the guy's still in phenomenal
He does
shape.
like to have his shirt off too.
He definitely plays into. Well, game recognizes game with you, right? Tom? But I think the Islanders are going to knock him off. I think it's going to be 7. I think the Islanders are going to win.
Okay. All right.
And then lastly, we'll talk about this with in depth with other guests, but I think the Rangers Devils series.
Great series. I did not understand how great the goaltending is for New Jersey. We definitely know how good it is for the Rangers with Shesterkin in the net. I think he and Vasilevsky are the 2 best goaltenders in the world right now. But these other goaltenders, there's a few of them around the league, are pretty good goaltenders. So I do give the edge in the goaltending to the Rangers. I think that's going to be the difference, but I think this is going to be a 7-game series.
I think it's going to be 7. Oh, I think it's going to go 6. I think the Rangers, I think this is their time. I think they know it. I think the Devils are a great team. They're fast. They're young. But I just think the Rangers, there's a lot of pressure on Patty Kane, on Tarasenko, on Panarin. The time is now for the Rangers.
And these are older guys too. Like Kane's not a young guy anymore. So if it gets to be like 6 or 7 games, does that hurt the Rangers because those guys get tired down?
I think we're going to see A games from these guys. I think they're going to really turn it up because this is why they're here.
Yep, very true.
And if they don't, it's a colossal
Right.
bust.
Right, absolutely. If they lose in the first round with all the moves
gosh.
they've done to these great young players with Shesterkin and net like that, then that is a major disaster. Yeah, but you know what? I think Kane's enough of a professional too that he's won before. He's a proud player, and he wants to. He's really grown up a lot, and he's going to want to show that he still has it.
Sure. So, and he had some issues in the beginning where it's character issues. They decided, but he's won 3 cups. He's a Hall of Fame player. He wanted to come here.
Yeah,
he wanted this chance. So did Tarasenko.
Right.
And sort of Panarin when he signed his
deal. And you mentioned to me before that Panarin came up with a quote saying it's not going to happen again. He has bad playoffs.
He's going to have a better playoff than last year. So
that's interesting. The guy would say that and admit that publicly that he did not play well, but he's going to address it this year.
And he's a neighbor of the True Grit. He lives right up here in Greenwich. He's right next to the True Grit studio.
Probably watches our shows all the time.
No, he's subscribed. He sends messages.
He probably is going to want like I have a salmon colored shirt on right now. He's probably going to want to buy one right now.
Probably take fashion tips from you.
Right.
Yeah,
and I don't like if he's got these things. What? Oh,
we're not on video, but for anyone listening, Tom's flexing. It's an audio podcast, but he's flexing. So
how would that come to you? Like, I have to make a noise or something like that, like flexing.
Well, audio. Probably like what are the old man noises? Oh, like ow!
Oh no!
That crack!
No! 65 on Saturday, getting better.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. Had just a little bit of tequila with my sons yesterday.
That's a nice day.
It wasn't. Sons were here. My daughter-in-law, my son's girlfriend, my grandson, my dog Maverick was here as well.
Yes. Did the dog piss on you or no?
He did. I started he pees on my foot.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a great day.
All right, so we'll wrap it up with that. You can't really top that, but it's the best time.
That is earth-shattering news. Like people around the world now are going, did that really happen?
That dog pees on Tom Laidlaw from Survivor.
Seriously,
agent business, 22 years. Yeah, Ranger King.
Northern Michigan University.
Oh, well, you're in the Hall of Fame again, right?
Harvard of the Midwest, they call it Northern Michigan University. I'm in the Hall of Fame up there, and I'm also in the Hall of Fame in Brampton.
And like I said before, you're in the Life Hall of Fame. You're self-appointed.
There's nobody else in there but me.
No, that's it. It's your world, and you're living in it.
Exactly.
But listen, it's a great time. I'm glad people are getting fired up. We have a couple cool events coming. We're going to do a live show with some Ranger fans.
That's right. Yeah.
We're looking forward to the playoffs. We'll check back in after the first round.
Everybody, have a great day. All right, Grasshoppers, thank you for listening. We had a fantastic show. We'll see you next time.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, unlocking the power of Thinkorswim, the award-winning trading platforms loaded with features that let you dive deeper into the market. Visualize your trades in a new light on Thinkorswim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, all while you uncover new opportunities with up-to-the-minute market news and insights. Thinkorswim is available on desktop, web, and mobile to meet you where you are. It's built by the trading obsessed to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.